Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TNT podcast with your boy Torres Finney and my co-host Tyler Layfield. What's up, Tyler?
Let's go. Doing good, man. Ready to talk some NBA. Got the boys on. Got a friend of the show, Jackson. He's been on once before when it was just the TGL podcast, but things have changed, so we're good to go on that.
Let's get it.
Yeah, good things are happening. And then also Zack Smith, coworker of mine, big Utah Jazz guy. Had to get him on here for this NBA playoff preview. Yes. So Jackson, been a minute since I had you on a podcast. So refresh the audience here a little bit about yourself. Let them know what kind of background you got.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, me and Tyler went to school together at Georgia Southern, and then he was my boss for about a month or so. And I actually was co-workers with Zack. And then I went and worked at Valparaiso University for the football team, and now I'm back home. I'm a college football contributor for FanSided, and I'm about to start getting my master's degree at University of Georgia. So pretty exciting stuff right now.
All right, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. All right, Zack.
That's what I'd say a year ago.
Yeah. All right, Zack, a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Zack Smith. I graduated from Mercer University about a year and a half ago. And like Tyler said, I worked with him with Making Mayhem. So that's kind of how we got to meet each other. And, other than that, I'm a big sports guy. Love the Utah Jazz and a big Hawks guy too. So kind of have an Eastern Conference team and a Western Conference team. So looking forward to it.
There we go. Best of both worlds, right? All right. So to start things off, figured we'd go over a little bit. So Torres, I actually didn't know this, but Torres brought up in the pre-meeting here that they've already brought up the coach of the year, right? So who were the two people that ended up getting that?
Well, they gave it to good old Mike Budenholzer for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they also gave it to Billy Donovan for the Oklahoma City Thunders. I mean, both had some really good teams. Obviously, the Bucks are the number one seed again in the East. They probably have the MVP on their team. I mean, they got a really good squad overall. What the Thunders did this year, I mean, letting go of Westbrook. I mean, trading Westbrook from last year, picking up Chris Paul. A lot of people didn't think Chris Paul would even finish the season. They didn't think how a lot of those things would go. But when I go back and I look at overall of how the Thunder have played, the Thunder has been one of the top teams in the West. Yeah. I mean, right now they're the 6th seed. Now, the 5th seed. And you're like, oh, well, they're the 5th seed in the West. But you got to look at what the West is. The West got, if not, the top 5 players in the league all in one team almost, if you take away Giannis. So, they got a lot of great players in the West, and they're the 5th seed right now. And they're actually tied with the same record as the Rockets. So they easily could be the 4th seed off just one game. And he has made that team even better, even like you just take away him not only having Chris Paul, what other stars do they really have? So I respect it, but I don't agree with it because in my opinion, the number one seed, the coach of the year should go to the man that is in the East, and that is Nick Nurse. Yes, look at what he has done with the Raptors. They are the number 2 seed in the East right now. They let go of their best player last year. And also, I could say their second best defensive player on the team as well. They had let go of Kawhi and Danny Green. They both was on the team from last year. So a lot of people didn't even expect the Raptors to be a top 3, top 4 team in the East. But not only that, they're a top team in the whole entire NBA. Yeah. They got a lot of still pieces with Siakam and Fred VanVleet and Lowry. They still have a lot of great pieces. They have a really good bench. And don't be shocked to see these boys in the Eastern Conference Finals. I would not be shocked anyway. And I really expect them to be there. So I truly believe that Nick Nurse should have been Coach of the Year.
All right. So got 2 big Hawks fans down here between Jackson and Zack. So let's hear both of y'all's takes here. Do you think that Jackson, do you think Budenholzer should have got this?
No, just for the fact that he's done this before. And it's great getting a 60-win season, but, he has a pretty stacked roster. And I thought Toronto was going to go for a pretty big drop-off. I'm talking like a 6, 7 seed type drop-off. And then I thought the Thunder were going to be a lottery team. Like I thought the head coach of Memphis should get a little bit more love because I thought Memphis was probably going to be like top 5 bad. So I think they should get a little bit more love instead of just giving it to the guy with the best record. But, I would probably pick Nick Nurse if I had the choice as well.
Wow. All right. So that's 2 for Nick Nurse. Zack, are you going to carry on the train here?
No, I'm not. I'm going to slide, like Jackson mentioned, to the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, Taylor Jenkins. second youngest coach in the league at, I think, like 36 years old.
Mm.
Have the youngest roster in the NBA. And like Torres was saying earlier in the show, that Western Conference is stacked. Sure, they didn't have a winning record, but, they played with the Blazers in that bubble or the
playing game.
Playing game. Mm-hmm.
And, they pushed them to the limit. If McCollum didn't hit a couple shots there, then,
Seriously.
We could be talking differently. That's right.
Talking about a playing game again today to see if they can sneak in there to face the Lakers. So, and they did it yesterday without Jaren Jackson too. So
yeah,
their second leading scorer behind Ja. So
yeah, they didn't have Tyus Jones either, who I thought was going to be a key contributor for them this year. So you're right, he was able to make something out of nothing with them. So that's definitely respectable. If I had to pick one, I think I'd go Billy Donovan here. I didn't completely write off Chris Paul. I thought that maybe this year he'd kind of take it off. Apparently, when he was coming into the facility after they traded for him, they were like, all right, this is how we're going to work it. We're just going to play you here and there. We'll probably use you as a trade piece. He's like, no, I'm going to play every game. So, I'll give it up to Chris Paul, for being a good leader out there. He's brought up SGA real well. I'm a big believer in SGA. They got a pretty good little team there, but he was able to really resurrect some pieces there. Chris Paul's come back. He's actually going to be a piece that other teams are going to be going for now. Got Dennis Schroeder, who I think is going to be the sixth man of the year. So he's been able to really do something with these pieces that everybody kind of wrote off. And honestly, we'll get into it later on, but in this first round, don't be shocked if they really push the Rockets here and actually, eventually end up coming out of this. So we all got a little bit of different opinions here. I like that. That's what happens when you get four people on. So that's great to hear.
One more point about this too. Remember, Portland was in the Western Finals last year, and the only reason they're in this position that they're in now, being the 8th or 9th seed, is because of all the injuries they've had this year.
You're
this
right.
is the typical 8th seed. So I think that speaks a little bit more volume to what Memphis did. Because the Blazers, they run into the Warriors last year.
They're real deal. They're the real deal.
You're right.
So the NBA bubble team this year, they had that first team and the second team. First team was Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, T.J. Warren, Luka Doncic, and James Harden. Second team being Giannis, Kawhi, Porzingis, LeVert, and Michael Porter Jr. I don't believe anybody really had any real takeaways here, or at least any refutes to who really made it here. And I believe the coach of the bubble was Monty Williams from Phoenix Suns. I think we can all kind of agree on that when he went undefeated there. I was hoping he'd somehow end up sneaking in. I'd love to play him, first round. So for the boy Booker, he was doing pretty good. But so nobody really has any refutes here. Everybody thought that was pretty good for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. I look at Damian Lillard. Yes, easily he was the unanimous bubble MVP. There's no argument against it. He was averaging 36.6 points per game, 9 assists per game. He was shooting 49% from the freaking field. Holy smokes, 43% from three. The man literally put Portland on his back. And you got to remember, C.J. McCollum had an injured back. He literally has an injured back right now. And these guys put the team on their back and just freaking, right?
Yeah.
And took these boys through the wet. And they didn't play no easy schedule.
No.
These were hard games. They had to play guys like the Mavericks. They had to play the Lakers. They had to play the Nuggets and the Clippers. And they were beating these teams. And, I give props to the Trailblazers, man. Props to them, man. I'm excited.
I had seen somewhere like Nasir Little. He's a rookie for them.
Mm-hmm.
After they kept losing game after game earlier in the year that Dame Lillard came in the locker room after one of the games, and he's like, y'all are not about to believe what I'm about to effing do. We're making the effing playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it.
He's a dog. He's a dog. Yeah, I like him a lot, man. He's going to be good.
I don't think you would have picked, before the bubble to be on there at all. I don't think any of us saw T.J. Warren turning into whatever got into.
No, we did not.
He leveled up.
Or Porzingis, for that matter. I would have never picked Porzingis to be on the first or second team. And Karis LeVert was a bit of a surprise, too, but he kind of had to put the team on his back.
Seriously.
Okay, question. Why wouldn't you think about Porzingis being on the second team?
Compared to some other guys as a forward, I just didn't think Kristaps Porzingis wouldn't have been my first choice to get there.
Well,
you're talking about before the bubble here, or you're talking
before the bubble?
Okay,
not after. I was more saying before the bubble.
You're thinking what
before.
Anthony Davis or something? Yeah, people like that maybe.
Easy.
Yeah, he was underwhelming.
Understandable.
Sure, aren't they?
Yeah.
on all NBA teams, so he wouldn't have been a forward, but still.
That's understandable because what Porzingis done before the bubble, it wasn't the best, but he was also injured. He was injured for a lot of those games. He was just getting back off injury. And, how many months? Like 3-4 months of a break, I think, in between. And then, boom, you got Luka. I mean, Luka can get anybody to play with him right now, in my opinion. And him and Porzingis been on the same team. Shut up, Tyler. I can already see. You're just lucky.
We'll get into that. That's a battle for another day, man. We'll get into that one another day. But so let's see here. So we want to get our playoff predictions here. I asked you guys, go ahead and have your picks kind of ready. We're going to mainly focus on this first round, but we're going to do our predictions, for who we think will end up making it through eventually. So be prepared for that. So this East, we'll go over the East first. It's a little, we can all kind of agree that it's weaker in a sense to the West. The West has all the fireworks over there. So let's see. So Torres, you want to kick us off with the Bucks and Magic matchup here?
Yes, I can. Currently, I mean, obviously, we look at the Bucks and the Magics. Bucks number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed in the entire NBA. Won 56 games. I look at the Magic. I mean, Nikola Vucevic. I mean, he really puts this team on his back. He's the main guy for them, man. He plays hard. The Magic, up and out for this 8th seed. They're 33-40. They're here and there in the bubble. I really don't have enough confidence in them. I truly see a sweep. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I don't see this series being close at all. I mean, an injury could change things. I don't know if anybody remember 2011 when the Bulls played the 76ers. They had Derrick Rose MVP. They had all these guys, and boom, Derrick Rose got injured, and the 76ers beat him. So,
yeah.
Only thing that I can see hurts the Bucks is an injury. But in my opinion, I truly believe I think Giannis is going to win MVP this year. He got a great case to being a defensive player of the year. I mean, you got him, Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews, Brook Lopez.
Chris Middleton.
You
got to throw him in there, man.
Great, man. Yeah, obviously he's number 2 player, yeah. So they got a tough team, man. And James Ennis and Nikola Vucevic, they're really good for the Magic, but I don't think they're going to have enough firepower to hold these guys off, man. So.
Without Jonathan Isaac, you could stick a fork in the Magic, man. They're done. They don't throw it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee wins by 20 points every game.
Yeah, it was shocking.
I really would. I think it's going to be bad.
This won't be close, man. It won't be close. I mean, it just you could make these type of cases. Being in the West, yes, you might play better teams with obviously better talent, but you playing those hard games. Let's say you play 7-game series, 6-game series, 7-game series, back to back to back, while the Bucks playing 4-game series, 5-game, 4-game, sweeping everyone. Boom. Yeah. NBA Finals come around. I'm rested. Your legs tired. So, I mean, this could be a blessing in disguise, for the Bucks, playing these soft teams early on. So,
you're right.
We don't want to throw the badges away yet because they did make the playoffs.
You're right.
I got a sweep by the Bucks easily, man.
I think is everybody else on that train here? I'm on a sweep. Is everybody else? Yeah. Okay. So everybody here, we agree with the sweep. Magic like you said, Zach, Jonathan Isaac going down. They've been battling injuries left and right. Aaron Gordon, he's been dealing with some stuff. Terrence Ross. So Evan Fournier. It's just like all their main guys. Like it's been kind of in and out here recently. Whether that's load management or whether it's actually real health concerns, they don't stand a chance if if this stuff keeps continuing like this. So, I think we can all agree Buck sweep here is going to do it. So, Jackson, you're next up. Let's go with Raptors and Nets for you. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a team that could be – they're the 7th seed this year, but I think they'll be at the top of the East next year, but they're just too injury-riddled. And then, like we said earlier, I mean, the Raptors are defending champs. It's really, minus, they lost Kawhi and Danny Green, but they really didn't add much after that. It's still basically the same core of it. Fred VanVleet, Mark Gasol, Serge Ibaka coming off the bench. And Pascal Siakam's taken such a big step up, and I think that's what's helped them maintain where they are, especially with the injuries everywhere else. And then, Brooklyn, they played great the other night against Portland. I really don't know what to expect out of them because I don't really know where they're going to get a lot of scoring outside of Karis LeVert. So, I mean, I hate to sound dull, but I mean, I think it's going to be another ugly series. I think Raptors sweep.
Raptors sweep.
Yes. Zach, what do you say here?
Yeah, man, the Raptors are gritty, but I mean, Dinwiddie and Levert might have something to say about it. But I think just to touch on Pascal Siakam, like he won Most Improved Player last year, and I think you can make a solid argument for him again this year. So something's going on in Toronto. They play great team basketball. They kind of become kind of like that Spurs East a little bit. They kind of bring that full-on group mentality. Kyle Lowry gives you, your solid 20 a night. So yeah, I think it's going to be another ugly series too. So.
I can see that as well. The Nets, it feels like that last game. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I stayed up all night watching that game against the Blazers. I was hoping somehow they pull it out. I know Tyler Johnson was having Devin Booker's back. They had just played together earlier this season. He told him, "Hey, man, you got to give this to me." So I think they expended all the energy that they could at that game. They played it like it was really a playoff game. I mean, sure, they're going to try it out. They're not going to just, come in and just give up. I mean, they'll probably try for a good bit out there. It's just that Raptors team, the way they play defense, it's tough. Like they play like it's a lost art in the NBA. I think we can all agree there. So, and Nick Nurse is running that team real well. I think they got the pieces to do it. They're going to sweep. So I think we'll see them in the next round. Does everybody think they'll sweep here too?
I would like to put a little hypotheticals.
Go ahead.
Where would y'all see the Nets if Kevin Durant and Kyrie would have played?
Oh God.
Second.
Are they a top 3 team in the East, or what are they?
Yeah, I think they're definitely top 3, assuming no other injuries around. I mean, I think they'd probably be right there with Milwaukee too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Durant by himself, I think he kind of makes all the difference there.
Kyrie, and then obviously Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen. I mean, that's a pretty tough team.
They really got a good team.
So if Kyrie and Durant said, "I want to come back and play, let's upset the Raptors," what chances would you give them? Would you still give it to the Raptors, or what?
I'd give it to the Raptors, just based on they haven't played.
Chemistry, that's right.
Rust too, man. They got a little rust on them. Yeah, KD made a little appearance in the Drake music video, so he looked pretty good in that. I think we can all say so. Maybe he's ready, right? Maybe
At least he's practicing. He's practicing against Drake, the most athletic rapper of all time.
Who has their chance for the upset, Brooklyn or Orlando? I mean, even though we all think there's zero chance. If you had to pick, if gun to your head, I mean, I would say Brooklyn.
I will have to go with Brooklyn as well.
I go Orlando.
Why? What you see in Orlando?
I think they play better defense. They keep games closer. The Nets, they more rely. They're kind of like the run and gun. They like to get up and down the court, chunk up some threes. At least that's how they've been playing here recently. So Johnson, the Wawa Carabo, he's been Cabarro, better yet, he's been coming through, popping some threes. So I think the Magic would try to just basically slow down the game, try to get the ball out of Giannis's hands, stuff like that. So if I had to give one, I mean, I don't think either of them do, but
I mean, I don't even think it even remotely comes close to that.
Yeah. So, Zach, I'll give you a pick here. Do you want to go Pacers in Heat or Celtics and 76ers?
Just hit me with one, man.
Go Pacers Heat. I'll give you I think that's the better one out of the two, so I'll give it to you.
All right, Pacers Heat. You've got that's probably what we were discussing in the pre-show. Our closest one, Eastern Conference. TJ Warren's been playing out of his mind for the Pacers here lately. They still got a solid core around him. Victor Oladipo, I don't know his health status. He's always kind of got a question mark with him game to game. But you have Malcolm Brogdon, who's I think one of the better players in the NBA, especially on the defensive side of the ball for guards. But then you have that Heat team, and they're just solid all the way through. You got the veteran leadership of Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler out there. He's a dog, as I would say.
Yeah.
Then you got, your shooters, Duncan Robinson, and
Tyler Hero, baby.
Tyler Hero, man. And then the other guy, I had mentioned Spicy P for most improved player, but you got Bam Adebayo, and I think he's up there top 3 for that as well. So that's your closer series. It's probably the one that you want to grab the popcorn for because TJ Warren didn't show up the other night for his first matchup with Jimmy in the bubble. Talking about that one for a while. So if I had to
there's a rivalry between them two.
You got that right.
If I had to choose, I'm going Heat and 6 for my prediction on that one.
Heat and 6. All right. Okay. I think I got to agree with you on that one. I like that pick there. I think you got it. It's going to be both teams play really good defense, especially the Pacers. They really predicate themselves on that. The loss of Sabonis is really going to hurt them here, I believe. But they'll keep it close. Brogdon's going to play some good defense. I think he can do enough to maybe lead them. T.J. Warren, if he can get back to popping off like he was doing there, and by the end of this, we'll see some type of confrontation between him and Butler. It's going to happen. It's got to happen after what happened earlier this season. It's bound to go down. So, but yeah, I think Heat and 6 is like the perfect little prediction there. What do you guys think?
Well, I was thinking more of like Heat. I was saying Heat and 7.
Heat and 7.
I can see T.J. Warren still in a few games from the Heat. Sometimes the Heat are inconsistent. Jimmy Butler don't always show up in some of his games. I mean, I'll go back to last year when they were against the 76ers and the Raptors. I mean, Jimmy Butler had chances to end that series, and he didn't always come through at the end. Obviously, Joel Embiid didn't play the best as well, but Jimmy Butler could have played much better. Now, in Game 7, he played good. I give him that. But throughout that series, he didn't play too well. And sometimes he don't come up all the time for the Heat. I think it's a rivalry. I seen it on ESPN earlier today. Jimmy Butler said he declares his rivalry with T.J. Warren is dead. He says it's not even a rivalry. So
yeah,
he talks that talk. I want to see him walk the walk, but it's gonna be interesting. That might fuel T.J. Warren. I don't know, but I can see this series going 7. I really could.
It can. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. What do you say, Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with him. I mean, I think it's going to be Miami in 7. I think it's going to be more consistent in scoring. I think with Jimmy Butler and then 3-point. I think they're a much better 3-point shooting team than Indiana. And I think T.J. Warren, I'm not 100% sold yet, so I like the Heat in 7.
Nice. All right. So last but not least, we got Celtics 76ers here. So going into this matchup, Celtics, really good team. Overall, you look at them, good roster up and down. Really, the question mark I see there with them is their big man spot. They got Daniel Tice there, good role player. He kind of does his role, plays good defense. Little undersized, though, and I really think that's where the 76ers are going to try to exploit them. Now, I did see there was a night where they were playing the Nets here in the bubble, and if they can play the similar defense, they played like a I always get it mixed up. So between the 2-3 and the 3-2 zone, which one of them has the center down there in the paint, like right there in the kind of the restricted area that defends the whole out of the 2-3 and the 3-2? So out of the 3-2 or the 2-3 zone, which one of them has a center that's right there at the basket that just defends the basket?
It should be the 2-3.
The 2-3? Okay, yeah. So they were playing that against Brooklyn. They totally shut down Jared Allen. And if they could do something similar to that, I could see them maybe, holding Joel Embiid down to some points. But really, it's all going to hinge. This series is all going to hinge on how good his performance is. Joel is an animal. We've all seen it. We've all heard the opponents talk about it. Draymond Green was on air on TNT right around that time where he was talking about Devin Booker, and telling him to leave Phoenix. But he said, if Joel really wants to, he could back down anybody. That's like his bread and butter. When he takes jump shots, he bails people out. That's exactly what the defender wants. So if Joel can assert his dominance down there, I think we could actually see this being pushed to 6-7 games. But if I have to go anywhere here, 76ers are missing Ben Simmons. There's still some question marks, like kind of in the ball handling area. I mean, when you're relying on guys like Fork and Kirkmaz, you got who else do we have here? We got Shake Milton. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be relying on those guys when Marcus Smart is staring you down, and Kemba Walker is actually coming back kind of healthy. So I'm gonna roll with the Celtics here, and I'm gonna go 6 games. I'm gonna go 6 games here.
And I agree with you, Tyler. I'm going to sell a Celtics 6 games. My confidence for the 76er game by game slowly goes down, especially now since Ben Simmons is injured. He is out for this playoff series. Then plus their shooting is not even already that good. 76ers, they got 2 great inside guys. I mean, but Joel Embiid, he injured his hand on this previous game, and Al Horford. I mean, they got a really
Tobias
good
Harris. He's okay,
Tobias Harris. They're okay. But right now, I'm looking at Brett Brown is coaching for his job right now.
He is.
He's coaching for his job. Brett Brown, I mean, they had a great team. You know, we've always talked about how the 76ers had to rebuild. You know, they kept losing games year after year to get top draft picks. Finally, they did. Now they got all these top players, and they're still not winning. Now, I mean, they're winning better than what they used to, but they're not winning as they should. They shouldn't be a 6 seed. They should be a 2 or 3 seed in the East, especially right now, especially no LeBron. And I just see that the 76ers underperforming this year. I don't see them. I say this might be the last series that Brett Brown coaches in. And next year we will be seeing a disperse of that 76ers team.
We will.
Simmons and Embiid will not be on the team together next year. I just don't see it.
Boom.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, heard it here first.
Heard it here first, baby.
All right, Jackson, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, he stole a couple of my points because I don't think they're going to be together next year either. I think they'll get rid of one of them. And they had the worst bench, I think, of any playoff team already. And I think, you know, getting into it with Ben Simmons out, they're a bad shooting team. Now, I'll say I don't think the Celtics have an answer for Embiid. I think you could see him average well over 25, 30 a game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think defensively, I think the Celtics are going to lock him down, even though they can't really shoot anyway. And I think Al Horford's been kind of a weird fit on there all year.
He has.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the worst free agent signings. Or is it more of a trade, wasn't it? Or it was a signing?
It was a signing. He surprised everybody. Hey, could we see some revenge here? You know, maybe, you know, Horford's back in town, you know.
Maybe have a good game here and there.
I don't think so. I think Celtics in 5. I just don't have confidence in the
Okay.
Embiid gets him one game because, like I said, they have nobody that can guard him. But I have no belief in Philadelphia at all.
No.
Boston in 4.
Oh, Boston in 4.
Yeah, sweet.
Let's go.
Oh my God. Okay.
Joel Embiid, he doesn't always like to get down there on the block, and when he does in this series, Brad Stevens is going to send the trap. The Sixers don't have the shooting around him for him to be able to kick out and still get buckets. So Jackson touched on it. They got a very weak bench. Like, I just don't really see it. Al Horford's been a strange fit, and Torres touched on it that, man, this is going to be Brett Brown's last series in Philadelphia. Like, after you get swept by Boston, who are one of the more versatile teams in the playoffs, it's just going to be done, man. I just don't see Joel Embiid. I mean, he'll get his for sure, but I just don't see him doing enough to even get him a game. So.
And, you know, you can never count on Joel, you know, having full health. You know, he's been getting dinged up here and there, had to leave a game like just the other day for just doing something with his hand. You know, like he's always getting nicked up. So something will probably end up happening. He'll probably have to leave a game at some point. I'm sure that's, you know, you could probably bet on that pretty safely.
Did they sign Horford for any other reason than he could guard? He used to guard Embiid pretty good. I mean, was that the only reason they signed out Horford?
I don't really know, man. It was weird. They paid up.
I thought that when they traded or when they signed him is just he could guard Embiid in the playoffs, and take him away. Nobody can guard Embiid if we play Boston, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. What were you going to say, Zach? I know.
I was going to say I think you're going to see Enes Kanter play some big minutes for Boston. Tyson, you know, they want to try to stretch him out a little bit, use him to stretch the floor on Embiid a little bit. I think you're going to see Enes Kanter play a lot more than you thought because he can rebound a little bit. He can throw the body around with Embiid. He's not going to be able to stop him necessarily backing down all the time, but he'll be, you know, there to contest him. So
yeah, pretty good post player too. Maybe draw a couple fouls.
I like that.
Yeah. What's his name? Who's the young cat they got down at center? It's Robert
Williams.
Dude, huh?
Isn't it Robert Williams?
Yes, Robert Williams. Yes. Yeah, he's been playing a good bit of minutes here too. So we might could see a little him. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So out of the East, so according to us, let's see, who would we have here? We would have Boston versus Toronto. Torres, who do you have coming out of that one?
Boston versus Toronto. Oh,
just keep it real quick here.
Right now, well, dang, that's a hard one to just think about. I might have to go Toronto. I'll go Toronto in 6.
All right, Jackson.
Toronto in 7.
Toronto in 7. All right, Zach.
That's tough, man. I kind of want to be the black sheep and go Boston here, so I am. I'll go Boston at 7. I think Brad Stevens is a tremendous player.
Wow.
We'll have the boys ready to face Nick Nurse and the guys. So
all right,
swapping it up a little bit.
I'm going to go Toronto in 6. They got the pedigree.
All day.
Yeah, they got the pedigree, they got the coaching, they got the core still pretty much there besides Kawhi, so I think they'll be pretty safe there. All right, at the top of the bracket, Bucks and I think all of us said Heat. Bucks and Heat. Torres.
Bucks, sweet. Like once again, I think the Bucks overall in the East, they got top to bottom best team in the East. I just really don't see anybody competing with them, especially in that regard. So Bucks, sweet.
All right, Jackson.
Milwaukee in 6.
All right, Zach.
I got to do it again, man. Miami in 7.
Oh,
I'll do it. I'll do it to you.
Oh,
I'll tell you why.
Is this out of spite? Is this out of spite?
No, man.
Oh my God!
I really think that if there's a player in the East that can guard Giannis, it's Bam Adebayo. He's a tremendous athlete. He's similar in size to Giannis. He's not as tall and lengthy as him, but I think he can beat him up a little bit and stretch him out. And then in the Heat themselves, man, they play that brand of basketball. They can get hot. They can go on runs. They've got the shooting around them to stretch out Milwaukee a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I got a gut feeling on that one. I think Miami is going to be the toughest opponent for Milwaukee. I thought we might see them in the Eastern Conference Finals, but seeding worked out that they play now. So I'll go Miami at 7 just to give you a high.
I like that. I like that, though. That ain't a bad take. Yeah, if I had to say one here, I'd have to go Bucks. I'd have to go Bucks and I'll go Bucks in 6. I think that will push them. So, but I just ultimately think the depth of the Bucks is going to be what gets them there. All right, so that would leave us. So I'll ask us 3, or I'll ask Torres and Jackson, then we'll get to you. But so that would leave you with Bucks and Raptors. Torres in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Bucks and Raps, going to be a good one, actually. I see it going. It's going to be a really good series, but I think Bucks will let it go to 6. I think Bucks beat the Raptors in 6 games. The Raptors, like you said, overall core pieces. They got it. Siakam, Van Fleet. I mean, they literally have everything you need to get back to the finals again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Bucks wants revenge, and I think Giannis is on a path right now. I mean, this is the Giannis. This is his conference now. He should be going to the final. I think we are going to see the surgence of Giannis Antetokounmpo as being a top star in the NBA. I think he wins MVP again. I think he finally gets his team, the Bucks, to the NBA Finals since, I think, 1971, since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So they finally get to the finals, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens then.
All right, Jackson.
Yeah, I'm going to go Milwaukee in 6. Remember last year before they mainly put Kawhi on Giannis, the Bucks tore through them those first couple of games before kind of collapsed. Kawhi this time, I think Milwaukee Toronto makes it competitive, but I think Milwaukee's on a mission, and they'll be fired up to play Toronto. Milwaukee in 6.
All right, I'm going to go Milwaukee in 6 as well, with them coming out of the East. Zach, you had the Heat and the Raptors, right? So let's hear what you got.
I would have hit his.
No, I got the Heat and the Celtics, man.
Celtics.
Oh, Heat and Celtics.
That's right.
That's right. You're the black sheep for sure. Yeah. All right, yeah. Heat and Celtics. Sorry about that.
At it, like as y'all were preparing, man, I was a little bit like, oh dang, I wish I had one of those to go to. But teams, man, I got to go Boston, and I'll go Boston in 6 because that swapping kind of defense I think will run Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero off the floor. Gordon Hayward, I got to go with my boy from Utah.
Okay.
He can get it done. Kemba Walker's time to shine. He really ain't got that much time in Charlotte in the playoffs. And then I think you're going to see Tatum. I think you're going to see Tatum take it to stardom. Like,
he's definitely capable.
We can definitely I think after this conference playoffs, you'll see Tatum as a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah, they could definitely.
I like it now, but I think you'll see get a little ISO opportunities, and I think you'll see him take it the next step. So
yeah.
Do you feel Jason Tatum has that type of playing style, like for instance, like with Kawhi? Like in my opinion, I always say this: Kawhi would never ever win NBA MVP. He'll never win NBA MVP. But when the playoff comes, he turns on a different level to where he is the best player in the league. Do you think Jason Tatum is going to have that same type of performance to his game?
I think maybe this year you will. I mean, if you look at his numbers before the bubble, and I hadn't truly looked at his numbers in the bubble. But
he had like 1 or 2 bad games. That's about it.
Yeah. His numbers before the bubble were pretty, freaking outstanding. He had taken a jump from the year before, and I think you could see him if Boston didn't play such a team style game, I think you could see him ratchet up his MVP chances, especially if he learns to distribute the ball a little better. I hate to say it, but he's kind of, been training or had trained with Kobe and all that in some of the summers, So I think you can see him kind of put the team on his back in certain situations. And I think Brad Stevens is going to trust him with the ball, him or Kimba. So
for sure, cardiac Kimba. All right. So we got the East done right here. So let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll knock out the West. Sound good, everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right, see you in a second. All right, and we're back. So now it's time to hit the Western Conference. So I figured we start off because this is like the hottest topic right now coming out of the West. As we were talking about earlier with Portland, they've just really taken over this bubble. Damian Lillard getting the bubble MVP, but been really carrying them. They're going to be coming in to face the Los Angeles Lakers with the 1-8 matchup here. So I'm going to take this one on. I'm a big LeBron guy. Here we go, got his Olympics jersey on here, so he's going to channel some of that for this year's playoffs, man. As LeBron says, it's zero dark 23 time, baby. It's time to put on. He flips a switch. It's time to get it, man. I know he hasn't been playing the best here so far in the bubble. Hear me out, fellas. Hear me out. So he hasn't been playing that well. I understand it, man. The team itself hasn't been playing that well. They do have a pretty good makeup, though. When you get two of the top 5 guys in the league, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you got a shot no matter what, right? As long as they can keep their health. Well, outside of that, they have some decent role players. Been playing okay-ish, you know what I'm saying? But really, it's about this matchup right now. We got to take it round by round because right now we got our work cut out for us. Right now, it's looking like it could be Trailblazers, possibly, it's going to either be Rockets or Thunder, and then ultimately, probably, I guess, depending on what everybody says, but I think everybody's kind of, for the most part, thinking Clippers here. So if they make it through all 3 of them and then go on to win the finals, I don't want to hear no more smack talk. All right? Let's just put that out right here, right now.
I disagree.
We're going to hush that mouth, all right? So anyways, all right, so coming into this series, a lot of people have been saying, Charles Barkley, Trailblazers, they're going to pull off the upset if they get that 8 seed. All right. But there's been a lot of talking going on, and I'm pretty sure these players have been hearing it. So ultimately, you know how I'm going to end up ruling. I'm never going to bet against LeBron. I think it's just it's just something you can't really go against here. The guy's proven it multiple times. We've talked about the times. I mean, shoot, he's gotten there with worse, bro. He's gotten there with way worse. So I think that he can be able to maybe take this on. He's got Anthony Davis there, probably one of the better players he's played with. Really, it all depends on how they Frank Vogel's going to have to really show up this playoffs. He's going to have to really show up this round because Damian Lillard's a problem. CJ McCollum, even though he's got the messed up back right now, he's a problem. Gary Trent coming off the bench, he's been going off. Carmelo Anthony, we've seen a resurgence with him. Yusuf Nurkic, my God, the dude's going off. So they've got the pieces. Nurkic went off last game against the Trailblazers. They didn't have any answer for him. They had Valanciunas. That's about it. I do think McGee and Howard will be able to rough him up a little bit there, especially Howard there. He's had some pedigree with making it to the finals with a team in Orlando Magic back in the day. Really, it's going to take a collective unit, I think, with these combo guards that they have, these twos and the shooting guards and the small forwards. Really, it's going to be about, and the point guards, we're going to have to see about, switching, how they're going to play defense. We're going to have to pick up, Damian Lillard just about full court, I feel like. So, I don't know. Give me Lakers in 6 here. Give me Lakers in 6.
Okay. I'm glad you're allowing yourself to give the Lakers a few losses.
At
least you didn't say Lakers sweep them because I don't.
No, I can't do that. You got to give the man respect.
I do. All right,
yeah.
But I'm going to say this.
Don't you do
I'm
it.
picking the Lakers as well.
Okay.
I picked the Lakers in 6 as well. I feel my gut is starting feeling me in 5. I do have a little bit more respect for LeBron. I know how he plays in the playoffs. But I will say this. I don't think it's going to happen, but I will say this. If Portland beats him, if Portland beat this Lakers team, I do not ever want to hear anything else about LeBron James doing this, doing that. I love when they say, oh, playoff LeBron's different. Oh, playoff. Yes, we understand. Yes, playoff LeBron is different. But when you talk about playoff LeBron shouldn't have a losing record in the finals. I don't want to get on that, but he do. But that's all I'm saying. He is playing a good team. There's no more excuses. He got a great help. He got Anthony Davis. His bench might not play up to par, but he still got his boys. They'll juggle. I agree. I mean, look, he got his boy J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
When Rondo gets back, I don't know when he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back for this series, but when he does get back, I mean, they still going to have a really good team overall. Overall team, this Lakers team is still really good.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses, especially not against the Trailblazers. They better not lose against them. I'll tell you that. If they
it's gonna
lose
be tough,
series,
man. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. They're hot. Yeah. They're hot. They're probably one of the toughest 8-seeded teams in history, in my opinion. They could be. And,
yeah.
You know, you gotta remember this team was literally just in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Right.
You know, and they played the Warriors, and you know how that went. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. Plus, you got Skip Bayless, Fuel, and Damian Lillard, and then you know how Skip is. You know how Skip like to say something about LeBron and then say something about Damian Lillard. So now he's basically in a win-win situation.
Hey, but LeBron don't listen to it, bro. LeBron has never acknowledged that, man. Damian has.
Nah, he don't acknowledge him. Nah, I would love to see one day when LeBron does an interview about his thoughts on Skip Bayless, because he's heard it. He ain't oblivious to it. He heard it. I would just love to hear it.
Yes. All right, Jackson, what do you say about this matchup?
I mean, I hate to go along with everybody like we've been doing, but I think Lakers in 6. But I just want to hit on that point he just made. Like the Blazers are not a typical 8 seed because they've been hurt all year long. You know, they've had Lillard, McCollum have been kind of going. They were going back and forth with injuries. I don't think Zach Collins played much at all in the regular season. Nurkic, I don't think played much at all in the regular season. And then Melo didn't really start coming until recently. I mean, he had some games there before the bubble, but he really didn't start getting flashback Melo all of a sudden until recently. So they're not a typical 8 seed. They did make the West last year. And I think the Lakers they're good. I think they're one of the weaker 1 seeds I've seen recently because they're an odd team.
I mean, he's probably right.
I mean, just the makeup. Kyle Kuzma's right. I mean, Kuzma's just very streaky, and I think that kind of stuff can get exposed in the playoffs. And he's not a good defender anyway. You know, you don't have Rondo. Danny's pretty good, but you can't. I don't know how much you can really count on like Alex Caruso or KCP or JaVale McGee to make big, or Dwight Howard for that matter, to make big contributions each and every game. So I really do see some upset potential here, but I just playoff LeBron's going to be it's different. Yeah, I will never argue.
We have a believer.
LeBron, you know. Yeah,
yes.
Lakers, but they better be careful.
You said Lakers in 6.
They better stop playing around.
All right, Zach, what do you got for me?
Give me Lakers in 5.
There you go.
But I think Damian Lillard's going to, be able to steal Portland a game. But the Lakers are just a better team overall. But I just want to shout out to Dame, man. He's been loyal to Portland for so long. You know, he's never really got him a true blood star. He's had opportunities to leave. He's got McCollum to help him out, but on a good team, let's be honest, McCollum would be the third piece kind of on, last year's Warriors. He'd be that Klay Thompson, that third guy on any, good playoff team. But, man, Lakers in 5. Y'all touched on all the points.
Nice. Thank you guys for letting me rant. I had to get that off my chest, man. Thank you so much.
I know how it is, man. I know.
All right, so let's hit on the other LA team versus Torres's team, the Mavericks. Torres, who do you have in this matchup? What do you got?
I love the Mavs, man. My boy Luka, as we was talking about before the show, he's a top player. He was one of the guys that was voted unanimously on the NBA first team bubble team. And, overall this bubble, he's been averaging 34 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. He's been in just the bubble, and he has been phenomenal. I mean, the man is a triple-double king right now.
Yeah.
But he is doing it efficiently. There's a difference, Westbrook. There's a difference. But the way Doncha has been playing, I mean, heck, he has great playmaking. He got guys like Porzingis, who is finally coming through and playing really well. Since he was injured, he came back on the Mavs, had this 2 to 3 month layoff, and now look at him now. He looks phenomenal. The Mavericks team, scoring-wise, looks really good. They actually are third in the NBA bubble right now as one of the top offenses in the bubble so far. So I right now I'm looking at these guys, man, and dude, I don't know, man. I truly have a lot of confidence in my boys, the Mavs. But those freaking Clippers, man. I mean, Patrick Beverly, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, all these boys, Doc Rivers coaching. I mean, to me, I think this is the championship team, in my opinion. The Clippers have the pieces. They have the pieces from the bench. Like, they literally have two guys. There's three players overall right now going for Sixth Player of the Year. They have Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams on the list between Dennis Schroeder. Like, they have two guys that potentially can win Sixth Man of the Year. And then, obviously, you got a former top player out of Paul George who can cut it on any time. Kawhi Leonard, we already know about him. Patrick Beverly, great defense against any guard. I mean, Montrezl Harrell, great big man. Ivan Zubac. I mean, these boys from top to bottom has a really good team. And I think the Mavs are really good offensively, but defensively, the Mavs were ranked 18th in the NBA this past season defense per 100 possessions. They've given up 117 points per game. Like, that's bad. So, I mean, the Clippers going to play much better defense. It's playoff basketball time now. It's big boy time. We have had a little struggle with Doncic playing in the fourth quarter. I mean, when the games is on the line, he was 0 for 10 until a few nights ago when he finally came through. But
yeah,
right now, I got my Clippers. I want to give my Mavs an extra game, but I might have to go Clippers in 5.
Okay. All right.
Clippers in 5.
Jackson, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just an awful matchup for Dallas overall, and I think Clippers in 5 too. You know, they're just not very, very good defensively, and the Clippers are the deepest team in the league. I mean, you can argue who's the best, but I think the Clippers are no doubt the best. I mean, their second unit can come in with Reggie Jackson, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and it's just that I think they're just going to be a tough out for Dallas. And as a Hawks fan, I don't think I can say anything nice about Luka Doncic anyway. I'm obligated not to. So Clippers in 5.
All right, Zach.
Give me Clippers in 6. I think Luka, gets his a little bit. I was so mad on draft night when they traded Luka. The Hawks did. Very upset about that. Still, a bit on the Luka hype train more than Trey myself. So,
as you should.
That LA team is deep, and
yeah.
I think Dallas is able to outrun them a game or two, just offensively. Paul George and Kawhi start missing some shots. They're still going to throw them up. So, yeah, man. But give me LA in 6.
All right, nice. Yeah, I'm going to go LA here. I'm going to go in 5. I just don't think it's the time yet for the Mavericks. I don't know if they've had all the pieces yet. To me, they're still missing. Porzingis is doing really good at the big man spot, but they still need, I think one more guy. Really, man, it's slipping my name all of a sudden, or it's slipping my mind here. They had a power forward kind of center. He tore his ACL or something like that earlier this year. He was a guy that came off the bench for him, but I think the loss of him is going to be felt pretty bad during this. Anybody have an idea about who that? It ain't Kleber. It was another guy. Say that one more time.
Was it
Dwight Powell?
Yeah,
Dwight Powell.
Yeah. I think they're going to be missing him a little bit, especially now that they're going to have to go against the likes of Zubac. I mean, he's been playing pretty well, and Montrezl Harrell now, and then Marcus Morris at the 4 and JaMychal Green at the 4. You know what I'm saying? It's just the list goes on
and I forgot about Joakim Noah, bro.
Joakim, he's played the first 1 or 2 games in the bubble, and yeah, watch to see if he can come off the bench and do something.
He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Clippers here in 5. I'm gonna go them as well. I think they have the pedigree there. They have the experience, so I think they got what it takes. So Jackson, your matchup you have right here is the Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. What most people would probably think of as the closest matchup here in the Western Conference. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be mainly competitive because Russell Westbrook, you don't know how long he's out. I think Houston is the better team. But, I mean, just like we did earlier in the show, you got to give a big shout-out to Billy Donovan because nobody really knew what they were going to be this year. And I thought they were going to be a lottery team. And they run a lot of three-point guard sets. And I've never really seen that before, but they've been really successful having Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Dennis Schroeder out there on the floor at the same time and getting contributions from guys like Steven Adams. So I think the big question here is how effective is Houston's small ball project, especially with Westbrook out, having P.J. Tucker, Robert Covington, Danielle House, he's kind of come on here lately. I think having the best player in the series, James Harden, I think is just going to mean a lot. And if Westbrook plays, I think it'd be Houston in 6. If he doesn't, I still think Houston in 7. Although I could see OKC winning this series. I think it's going to be probably the best series in the whole playoffs in the first round anyway.
Most definitely. Torres.
I agree with Jackson. I mean, he's right on this. Nobody saw the Thunders doing any of this, as we said previously in the show. The Thunders have done a phenomenal job. Billy Donovan has done a phenomenal job. I always thought he was a great coach. I never forget when the Thunder first got him, when he had Westbrook and Durant. And I said, man, the way he had Steven Adams and Enes Kanter playing all together, I truly believe that 2016 year, the Thunder probably could have won the finals if they don't give up that 3-1 lead on the Warriors. They were really that good. And he's a really good coach. He's coached the Thunders phenomenally through this entire – and I could see an upset. Westbrook not playing game 1, I'm calling a steal for the Thunder's game 1.
It could be longer than that. They're talking about this injury could last a little longer than just game 1.
Well, see, that's the question. To me, I think if Westbrook plays, I would have had the Rockets probably in 6. But Westbrook not playing could easily – I can see this series going 7. I can see the Thunder slowly chipping away because sometimes Harden gets in that moment where he just has the ball and start jacking up shots.
Yeah.
And then, boom. Even though he might drop 50, 23 out of 60 shots, come on now. Like,
yeah,
that's not how you do it. And I think Thunder's going to capitalize on that. They have really good basketball IQ. I mean, with a guy like Chris Paul, they got a lot of smart guys on that team. I could, if Westbrook don't play in this series, take a Thunder in 7.
Okay. All right, Zach.
Dude, I'm gonna follow you up there, man. I think Thunder in 7. I don't think Westbrook plays nearly the amount that we think, and I think CP3 is looking for a little bit of
revenge.
The way he kind of got kicked out of Houston, you know. So
yeah.
You can call it revenge. You can call it, I'm still one of the top 5 point guards of all time. You put whatever label you want on it. But I really like we're going to see a little bit of small ball versus small ball, but I think the bigs are going to be what wins OKC the series, man. I think Steven Adams is going to eat down low, and I don't really think Houston's team rebounding philosophy is going to really work, I guess, in a 7-game series. So give me OKC 7.
I'm going to follow that up as well. I'm going OKC in 7, regardless of really. I mean, I don't think Westbrook comes back within the first 2-3 games. I think it's a little bit more murky than what we're seeing from the outside here. I think they're holding some stuff back. So even if he comes back, I'm not the biggest believer in this chunk of threes all game philosophy, really, and not having a big man. PJ Tucker, as much as I love the guy, he's been very inconsistent so far in the bubble. He has not been hitting his 3-ball, which is really hurting them right now. I do love Robert Covington being down there. I think he can be a little bit of a biggish presence. Jeff Green's been playing pretty good at that center spot for them. And they've had some guys stepping up, but ultimately I think that the Thunder have a little bit more depth. They've actually uncovered some pieces these last couple of games. Darius Bazley's been playing his butt off, and he's probably worked his way into some more minutes at the power forward spot. You still got Gallinari, who's a proven scorer. He plays pretty well as a veteran in the league. CP3, I think he's going for that revenge. I think he's going to be that intimidator that really he's going to end up drawing some fouls. The dude knows how to do stuff, and I don't know, man. He's very smart. He's very technical with the things he does. He's going to do good there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, he's going to be somebody that people are going to start paying more attention to him after this series, I think. I'm a big believer in him. He's got the makings to be a superstar one day. Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench. Man. And then, like Zach said, the bigs, Steven Adams and Nerlens Noel. We've seen it so far in this bubble, but Houston, they give up a lot to the center spots because mostly they don't have that height. So I think that they'll be able to exploit that. Billy Donovan, he's a co-coach of the year.
Really good coach of the year.
He'll get it done, man. And to be honest with you, it could even go to 6. I think OKC could win this in 6, but it's really shoddy. It's either you make the 3, you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and ultimately I think they're going to die by the 3. So I'm going OKC here. So let's see. We got one more matchup here, and it's down to Zach. We got the Denver Nuggets, the up-and-coming Denver Nuggets versus the Utah Jazz, who are looking a little less likely as of today. We had some news drop. Did you see about Mike Conley, Zach?
I did.
Yes.
Intro throw that in the intro, man. Stole my bullet point there.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be unbiased here, but like I said at the top of the show, I'm a Utah fan, so to speak. Yeah, man, Denver's looking really good coming in this series. They've been experimenting with the tall ball, as I call it.
Yeah.
Where they brought out, Jokic, Bol, Michael Porter, just a huge lineup. I would love to see them in Houston go at it, but with a kind of contradicting philosophy there. But yeah, for Utah, man, you're losing Mike Conley probably for an extended time, probably for the length of the series with him leaving the bubble for the birth of his child. You can't blame him there.
No.
But he hasn't really been that effective for Utah yet. They've been running a lot of Donovan at point with Jordan Clarkson at the 2. And then you have Rudy Gobert down low, and hopefully he can give Nikola Jokic some trouble down there. If I had to choose right now, I'd probably go Denver, unbiasedly in 6. Utah this year has kind of gotten away from their bread and butter of the defense, man. They're more of a middle-of-the-pack defensive team this year. Not having Bogdanovich really hurts in the series in terms of scoring. Donovan Mitchell, he's a tremendous player, but he's still inefficient. So, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go Denver in 6. I think Utah's able to slow them down and get enough back to the Rooks to steal a game or two. But the depth of Portland, Michael Porter, and Bol's kind of emergence here in the bubble is just going to be enough to tote them, I think.
Yes, I really agree with you there. I think that I'm going to go one game less. I'm going to go Denver in 5. We haven't seen a lot. I mean, we've seen good stuff from Denver, but they're not done yet. They still have – Will Barton hasn't even – I don't even think he's played a game here in the bubble. If he has, it's been like 1 or 2. Gary Harris, he hasn't even played any games here in the bubble yet, and people forget about him. Once they get back, they just got Jamal Murray back. Michael Porter Jr. has been going off. We just mentioned him earlier. He's a second-team all-bubble. Then you got Bol, who's been coming in, giving some good big minutes. We forget about Plumlee, another good big guy they got. And, of course, the main star of the show, we got Jokic. So, Denver, like you said, they've gotten away from their bread and butter. Bogdanovich, I knew he was going to be a big loss when I heard about that. What was it, an ACL tear? Or it was just an injury of some sort.
I think
but
he had some kind of arthroscopic surgery. I don't
there you go.
remember.
Yeah, but that sucked. That was a big hit.
Utah did push Denver to 2 overtimes before losing earlier in the bubble. So, I mean, these teams are going to be closer than, some people from the outside want to think. I'm just trying to be unbiased a little bit.
Yeah.
Be biased. Be biased. I want you to be biased. What you want to happen. What you want
Utah in 4, man. Utah in 4.
Donovan,
oh, God. 40 points a game, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Torres, what do you have going on here? Ooh,
I like the Jazz as well, man, but it's just hard for me to see the Nuggets losing right now. I mean, they still a really good team right now. They still got guys, as you just named, a whole bunch of guys, and they're all productive. The Nuggets is a really productive team. As they said, the tall ball, they got a lot of big men that can shoot from the outside as well. I got the Nuggets in 5 in this one. Nuggets in 5.
All right, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you too. I think Nuggets in 5. When Utah's at full strength, I think they'd be more of a challenge. But I really haven't been all that impressed, and I think y'all fit on all the good points. I like Denver, even though I do think the Nuggets are a bit overrated, to be honest.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah, you're right. So let's see. So we all have our picks here in this first round. So let's go ahead and we'll do what we did with the East. We'll go through round by round. So let's first start off with Lakers. And so for me, it'd be Lakers versus Thunder. I'm going to go with that one because that's who I picked coming out. So I'm going to go Lakers there. I'm going to say Lakers in 5. I think they get a little easier matchup there, and I think they move on from there. Jackson?
I had Lakers and Rockets, but I'm going to go Lakers in 6.
Nice.
I think that'd be a real bad matchup for Houston. I mean, Anthony Davis may average 50 points a game against that small ball lineup of Houston. I had Lakers.
Yeah, for sure. Torres.
I would say the same thing. In my opinion, I would say I got the Lakers and the Thunders. I have Lakers in 6 against the Thunders. I think the Thunder could steal a few of those games. Obviously, Anthony Davis is going to cause a problem. But sometimes he have his off games. It's really big time. We've only seen him in the playoff once. And that was against the Warriors. They got swept. But it's time for us to actually see what he does in the playoffs. And it'll be pretty interesting to see. Now, if Westbrook comes back and play, and I said if Westbrook comes back and play, I got the Rockets in 7. I still think the series goes 7 either way. But if Westbrook come back and play, I got the Rockets in 7. If Westbrook is playing, I see the Lakers beat the Rockets in 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Either one. Both
so
of them
Lakers in 6 either way. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Zach.
Give me Lakers in 6. I had a match up against OKC in my bracket. But I do think that OKC takes more than one game there because I think OKC has an answer for Anthony Davis. Jeremy Grant, he's a pretty rangy defender, bigger body. I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to stop Anthony Davis, but you have to, when you talk about superstars like Anthony Davis, it's not necessarily stopping them. It's limiting them and, making them more inefficient and stuff like that. Lakers, they're just too good, man. They're too good to get bounced by the Thunder in round 2. Give me Lakers in 6.
I hear you. I do think so. Jeremy Grant, is he still on the Thunder or is he on the Nuggets now? I thought I saw him on the Nuggets. Can anybody bet me on that? I don't know.
I mean, I can look it up.
We'll look it up just to make sure. But yeah, I thought maybe he was on the Nuggets because that's another piece.
He's on the Nuggets. Yes.
Okay. All right. So what do you got now? Does that change it?
I don't know, man.
It's not your answer anymore for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, he's not my answer for Anthony Davis. I think
it's like either going to be Gallinari that guarding him, maybe. Boy, actually, no, it can't be. They had to put probably Steven Adams or Nerlens Noel.
Or the size of Adams and Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
He's going to kind of move out a little bit to the perimeter to guard him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they find a way to steal a game or two, so I'm still going to go to Lakers in 6.
Cool. All right, so next matchup here would have us going with Nuggets and Clippers. I'm pretty sure everybody picked the Nuggets and Clippers there. If it's me picking here, I'm going to go Clippers in 6. I'll give the Nuggets actually, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'll go 2 games for the Nuggets, somehow pulling out something. Jokic can, I think he could work Zubac pretty well. So yeah, I'll go Nuggets in 6 there against the Clippers. What about you, Torres?
I say the same thing. I got Clippers in 6 against the Nuggets. It's just going to be a really interesting series overall. I think it'll be really defensive. I can see a lot of good defense in that series between these two teams, but I don't know, man. I just think the tall ball can only work to a certain degree. It's going to be hard to go out there and cover these guards. And then plus, anytime the big stars sit down for the Clippers, their bench, man, can pick up where they left off. I think that's a big key, especially in the playoffs, the bench for it. So I think Clippers in 6 against these boys. And wouldn't shock me if they beat them in 5. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Zach, what about you?
I got to go Clippers in 5. Like you touched on it, the Clippers bench is so deep. You have Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, who I think actually starts for him. But those guys that step in right after PG and Kawhi, and they get theirs, man. I'm a big believer of Landry Shamet.
Yeah.
Some shots.
Another one, man. So how they got a team.
Yeah, man. Kawhi, Pat Bev, they're kind of those dogs, especially in the playoffs. Kawhi, like we were talking about earlier, is one of those players that probably won't ever win MVP because he just won't ever turn it on until it's crunch time in the playoffs. But
yeah,
give me Clippers in 5.
All right, Jackson.
Yeah, I'm going Clippers in 5 too. I just think this is a bad matchup for Denver. I think they're a little overrated in the sense they win a lot of regular season games. I don't know that they're necessarily built for the postseason. I do think Jokic will get his because I don't know how well the Clippers can guard him and what they'll throw at him. But I just Clippers in 5.
Nice. So that would have me going with Clippers and Lakers. I think actually that would have everybody going Lakers and Clippers here. So y'all know where my allegiances stand. I'm going to bank on LeBron being LeBron here, even though they have Kawhi, even though they have Paul George. Let me bank on him. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be difficult, but give it to me. I'm going Lakers in 7. Torres,
okay.
I know you're chomping at the bit to combat that, so here, let me hear it.
All right, I got Clippers in 3. They sweep them.
Okay.
In 3 games. I just swear. I would love that. I'm just playing.
Screw you, buddy.
It couldn't even be 3. Hey, I'm just joking, but bro, I am really confident in this Clippers team. I'm telling you. I mean, I just think it's different now. It's going to be a great series. Yes. But I got Clippers in 6. Kawhi, man, I think Paul George finally gets over the hump. I think Paul George finally says he had enough when he was in OKC. He had enough when he was in Indiana. He has enough, going all around these different teams, and he finally being on the Clippers. He has a star, another star that don't ball hog like Russell Westbrook, but somebody he can truly believe in. You got two guys that are top defensive players. Last year, Paul George literally was a guy that was in the race to be MVP and Defensive Player of the Year last year. No, was it 2 years ago? And I think it was last year, 2 years ago. But he was one of the best defensive players in the league. Now you have him with a two-time Defensive Player of the Year out of Kawhi Leonard. Man, I understand. Now we have Montrezl Harrell. I think the last two matchups we saw in the bubble where we saw Anthony Davis was dominating. I think Montrezl Harrell limits some of that. He won't stop it, but he will limit some of that. I think the bench, because when Kawhi and Paul George sat down, I mean, they didn't have little to no offense. They literally had a 12-point lead in that game. Lakers come back, boom, surging, and the Clippers had nothing to stop it. I think having Lou Williams, having those guys off the bench come on and play will completely demolish any of that from the Lakers. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be really interesting to see. I think the Clippers, to me, I think if Kawhi gets the Clippers this first championship, he officially enters the top 10 of all time, in my opinion. Yeah. Because you win a title with three different teams. Not only do you win the title, but you're the MVP of every single one, and then you bring the title to two franchises for their first time ever, Clippers and Raptors.
Yeah,
man, you have a case that nobody else can make. So
for sure. All right. So Zach, what do you have? Lakers or Clippers?
Give me Clippers in 7.
All right.
I like LeBron. I know it's gonna make Tyler mad, and I'm kind of glad to get to see him over there crying and all that. Yeah. But man, I think you look at the bench for the Clippers, like you touched on Torres. They're just a little bit deeper than that crew over there across the hall in Staples Center, you know?
True.
Landry in that bubble play-in game, or the first game of the bubble between the two, like Landry Shamet played really bad, had a lot of turnovers. I don't think you see that over 7 games. They didn't have Harrell or was it Beverly
or Lou Williams?
Yeah. Or Lou Williams. So I don't know, man. I think when PG and Kawhi sit, there's just going to be too much score and ball distributing for the Clippers to really run amok with the Lakers bench. LeBron and AD are going to get theirs in the series, but I don't know, man. Hopefully you get to see a Game 7. I'm setting you up, man. Game 7, game on the line. Paul George, Kawhi hit another shot, to thrust themselves up there into the greatest shots of all time. So
I know a guy who's pretty good at Game 7s. So
I want to say this.
I think he might
I
do
don't
all
like
right.
Game 7s against LeBron. LeBron plays in Game 7s. That's why I said it 6.
You can argue Kawhi in Game 7s. Wasn't that shot that Kawhi?
Yeah, I mean, you can argue it. You can argue it.
I want to see him go at it, like do or die. Like that's what I'm hoping for.
It'd be fun. I would love it. Of course, it'd break my heart if it went the wrong way, but it would be fun.
And this would be a blemish on LeBron slightly, because this would be the 3rd playoff series, and out of 3 playoff series, and he never beats Kawhi in any 3 of them. I'm just saying.
He wasn't on that. Kawhi wasn't on that first team.
I said this would be the 3rd one, and I said if he does lose this one, it'll be 3 playoff series they've played, and he hasn't won 1 yet. I mean, Kawhi's already 2-0 against them. So.
Yeah, I know, but LeBron beat him in the finals, Torres.
What's that year? Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm off. That's right. That's right.
You're always coming at my boy.
Look,
could you argue that's Kawhi, man? That's not the same player.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But, hey, that pisses me off because Pop took out freaking Duncan.
I know. Hey, it don't matter. It happened. Leave it out. All right, Jackson, we still got to get yours in. Lakers, Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go to 7. I like the Clippers. I mean, I think we want this to go to 7. I think the league wants it to go to 7 because it's been a fun game every time these two teams play this year. It's been pretty contentious. You know, when they played that first night of the bubble and LeBron really kind of come on there at the end. Remember, the Clippers were without Lou Williams, Harrell, and I think Pat Bev too. So I just think the Clippers are just deeper. I think we've it a million times that the Clippers are just probably the deepest team in the league, if not the best. And like I said earlier, I think the Lakers they're just an odd team to me. And I think the Clippers will be able to shut them down. LeBron and AD will get theirs, but I just don't know who steps up consistently for the Lakers every night on that team. So give me Clippers in 7.
I hear you. So that would leave me with Clippers and Bucks, or no, with Lakers and Bucks. My bad. And I'm gonna go. Right. No, Lakers and Bucks, and I'm gonna go with Lakers in 6. I think Anthony Davis will guard Giannis. I think they've, like I said, I just gotta get the edge to my guy right now. Things can change, obviously, but I'm gonna roll with him right now. I think he's got a lot to play for. So, and like I said, I've seen the guy turn on the switch for years now. Growing up watching him, I think he'll do it again. So until he proves me otherwise, I think I can't bet against him. So I'll go with that. Jackson, what about you? You have Clippers and Bucks, right?
Yeah, my gut says to pick the Clippers, but I don't know. My heart tells me Milwaukee because I think Giannis is going to really plant the flag and take it away as the best player in the league and kind of maybe start a run of dominance like we used to see LeBron do through the East. Give me Milwaukee in 7.
All right. Torres, real quick, who do you got?
I think
Bucks or Clippers?
I think I'm going to have to go with Clippers. I think Kawhi Leonard he's here, man. I think he's trying to cement his legacy. He wins with this team. Like I said, he's top 10 player all time. I feel bad for Giannis. I would like to see Giannis finally get that ring because he's there. But I think Giannis got a lot more finals in him because, let's be honest, LeBron's not in the East anymore. Mm-hmm. I think he got a lot more finals left in him. They keep that core team together. Bucks going to be in the finals. But this year, it's Kawhi year, man. I truly believe it.
All right. And, Zach, that leads us with Clippers versus Celtics on your end.
Give me the fun guy. Kawhi, like the Boston Celtics.
Whip that out, Darren.
They're the B team of what the Clippers are. The Celtics, that is. They kind of all play that switching defense, excellent perimeter defenders. But I don't know. I like Boston. I'm championed them a little bit here, made them my bold pick several times. But I don't know. The Clippers are just whoever comes out of the West, I think it's just the better team overall. I like Giannis. I kind of made a bold pick him out, but I don't know. Clippers, man, they're a bit too much talent, I guess, for the young Celtics.
Yeah. And I will say this. So if it wasn't, if it was Clippers versus Bucks, I think I'd go Bucks. So because I know nobody's giving the love to the Bucks over here, but I think I would. They got depth too. They can match it. I think with you can go through a whole grocery list of who they have as well. They picked up guys off the buyout market. They picked up guys through free agency. But yeah, so I could see them definitely pushing it just to give them a little love here. So yeah, well, everybody got their picks in. We'll have to keep up with this. We'll have to keep track of this. We got our group chat going on now, so Trash Talk will be coming up.
That's right.
Between all 4 of us, so we'll keep up with it. We'll trash each other. So it'll work out well. Each of us have made some type of bold take or another during this, so makes for a good show here. So thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Zack, for coming on. Zack's first time, Jackson's first time here on the TNT now. So it was a pleasure having you guys on. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Anybody have any last final remarks?
No, it's always a pleasure.
Hawks are a playoff team next year.
Hawks are a playoff team next year. There you go. Good final thought.
Oh.
Good final thought. Yes. And just a heads up, draft lottery this Thursday. All right. So we got to keep an eye on that, everybody. But yes. Well, thank you guys for listening in. Do yourself a favor. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're there. So subscribe to us, share it with your friends. They'll enjoy it. But thank you guys for listening in. We'll see you next time.